Hello, everyone. I wanted to share my thoughts on Jonna Lee's new single, Innocence of Sound. Jonna Lee talked last year about how she was looking to crowdfund again for new music this year. And it seemed that she was reaching a lot of these Generate goals, it's incredible to see how the fans will just come together and really help her out to fund this work. It's so beautiful to see. And the overall goal was for an entire new album this year, which is going to happen now. So as far as this new announcement is concerned, we have a new album coming out on June 14th, and it is going to be called Close Your Eyes. And it is not going to have I Am, Am I, Who Am I attached to the project, as her last album in 2022, I Am I, Who Am I, kind of uses this. It kind of was like a fusion of, they're the same person, but it was a fusion of these two sort of artistic creations that she's made, avatars that she puts out music as. Jonna Lee plays Björklund, who she collaborates with more for I Am I, Who Am I. And the other difference being is that the Jonna Lee album songs don't have a visual for every song. At this stage, I'm not sure if there's going to be a visual for every song, since this is just a monikered Jonna Lee album. We haven't actually gotten one since 2019 with Remember the Future. And so I don't know if this is necessarily going to have every single song having a visual. Especially since the release schedule, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be how it was in 2022, where we got a new song about every 2 or 3 weeks leading up to the album. So it'll be interesting to see, how this project unfolds itself. But we have one song, English song, which is Innocence of Sound. But she's also recorded a Swedish version. She did this in 2021 for her song Summer Never Ended, The Damage Was All Mine, which never ended up finding a home on an album. And I don't think that song is going to make it onto this project, but I wouldn't entirely rule it out. But I have a feeling it won't. We'll see. I mean, it would make sense. That's the other song that she's released in this sort of dual language format that is only under her name, Jonna Lee. And I don't know, maybe she'll throw it on there as like, deluxe bonus track that some artists do with like the older songs that, kind of should have been on the album but came out too early. Jonna Lee, of course, had a baby last 2 years ago. So this time, I mean, she's been busy. I'm impressed that she's coming back so quickly. But then again, she put out an album while she was pregnant. Not only that, but filmed 10 music videos for it. So we'll definitely be getting more music videos, but I'm just not entirely sure if we're going to be getting a music video for every song. That has not been confirmed yet. And like I said, that wasn't the case necessarily for her two Jonna Lee styled albums. But I do, have great things to say about, can Jonna Lee really do wrong? Sure, sometimes songs, take me to places others can't. But I will say that I'm excited for the idea of a continuation of Blue. It is, of course, 10 years since that iconic album of hers came out from I Am I, Who Am I? And it sounds like, even though, like I said, this is a Jonna Lee project, not an I Am project, she is continuing that story and definitely continuing that thematic imagery conversation, because the music video features lots of water, lots of similar visuals that we saw in lots of the music videos for the Blue era. And that is my favorite Jonna Lee record. It is my favorite Jonna Lee music video set. I mean, I love all of Jonna's first three. I love all of Jonna's albums. But Blue is just something special. Blue felt like just a really daring project. And so I think it spotlighted the Scandinavian landscape in such a beautiful way as well. Of course, Blue was also filmed in the Caribbean. It was filmed in lots of places. It wasn't just filmed in Norway and Sweden, but I'm interested to see if she ventures outside of Sweden for the visuals of this album. I know she's recording a lot of this in her sort of countryside home and makeshift barn studio that she's been constructing, less so in Stockholm where she used to live. So she's come out to the country and sort of, set down roots in her homeland. And I mean, if you listen to her music, you would imagine she's always been there, but no, she actually used to work more in the city. Now she's kind of coming back out. And really, it's just it's just this one sort of kind of pensive, pent up emotional kind of chord progression that we have, key progression in the synth that carries the backbone of the production. But there's a danceable element to this song, which I think is why Blue works so well. It's got these sweeping synth melodies and choruses, cathartic kind of production. And it's so melancholic and yet so uplifting in the way that you can dance to it. So we're sonically in that conversation. The production always is so evocative of icy, February, March Scandinavian days, where you do get the sun. You're getting the sun on your face, but it's like 20 degrees and barren, pine and in snow slightly melting. Oh, it very much, everything about the synth work here is so Nordic to me. It's very Jonna. It's very classically, it's very much her style. Gave it everything I have, my fuel and fire, burned the whole house to the ground, hid across the land, singing songs of sirens, when all I want is to be found. I keep to the innocence of the sound, and it doesn't stop coming 'cause I kick it alive. It's all golden if it doesn't get you high. Lay it down, let it soar, let it have a life of its own. I take this song to be, as she sort of explained, in the darkest moments of one's, existence, music and art forms in general, but she's spotlighting music and sound here, is sort of her ultimate lifeline. There's, so much that doesn't make sense or ring true, but music does. And, I think that image of her laying in that sort of on that mattress in that bed in that stark winter Swedish field really spoke to me of sort of this centering yourself in a moment of perhaps restlessness in the mind, depression, feeling bogged down that you just can't get up out of bed, feeling that call of the call of the wanderlust that the music incites in you to continue to create, to continue to explore, which is the theme that all of her music, I think, ultimately kind of comes from. Blue, is so much referring to that sort of that urge to create that she can't escape. And the line, "and feeling the pain makes you kind," really gets you thinking. There's so much to ponder in a Jonna Lee lyric, so much context to decipher, and just something you really need to sit with and meditate on. I think it's very interesting that the Swedish translation is not a direct translation. So the album is going to be called Close Your Eyes, but the Swedish version is not going to be that translated into Swedish. The Swedish album is going to be called Blund. I mean, according to Google Translate, means wink. So I don't know if that's an accurate translation. Wink is a form of closing the eye, but it carries a completely different context as what Close Your Eyes is telling you to do. It's just like a meditative kind of space. Wink is, not fully closing your eyes. And the Swedish version of Innocence of Sound is called Allting vill rinna ut I sand. I am so sorry if I completely butchered that pronunciation. I did live in Sweden for a month. But I didn't get the firmest grasp on the language or the pronunciation. But loosely translated, this means everything wants to run into sand. In the chorus, everything wants to flow into sand. I keep falling and you float ashore. An incredible dream that will never come true. Oh, same thing again. Missing away but longing for home. Everything wants to turn into sand. Sand is pulverized rock. The ocean continually beating down, you know, on minerals, scattering them across the shore, sort of like a personal evisceration, but everything also kind of coming back or going to the ocean or coming from the ocean. There's a theme there. I think oceans and water are going to be, and lakes are going to be, again, pivotal here as they were in Blue. Again, these translations are Google translated, so I wouldn't trust them, especially since her lyrics are so poetic that, it in Swedish might not even make that much sense. I mean, in English, sometimes I look at her lyrics and I go, I love what she's saying, but I don't understand it. Like, I can't intellectualize it, but I don't think, I've said this before, I don't think her lyrics necessarily need to be intellectualized. I think her lyrics need to, like, emotionally speak to you, and not be literal, and and be kind of just like a wave washing over you that you just sort of slowly process and it sinks into you. I'm really excited to see where this album goes. I'm expecting sonically, she is working with Clays. I did see in the Genius description, so she will be working with him on other tracks on this record. And I'm very excited to have more Jonna Lee music. She just keeps wanting to create, and I'm always going to be here. So I will review the album, though I will probably only cover the English version, because if the Swedish language, version of it is going to be entirely different lyrics, that's a lot. That's a lot, and I'm going to be doing rough translations that I don't think are going to be that accurate. So I may just stick to the English version if that's okay. But for this song, I won't be reviewing any of the other songs that may come out, though, until the album. So I just wanted to preface that. I just figured not only do we have this new track, but we have this album announcement. So I wanted to share my thoughts. I'm excited to see what the album art will look like. Curious to see, how much this project will potentially deviate from Blue and its aesthetic, or will it just kind of feel like a retread? Which I'm okay with. If she's going to retread past Work, that's an album I definitely pick. But, maybe, standing on its own is also important as well, sonically and visually. So we'll see where that takes us. But very excited. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on her new song. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did. Subscribe if you're new to hear my thoughts on her album when it comes out. And I'll see you all in my next video. Peace, love, and light. Bye.